Have you ever stared at a legal document and just felt your eyes glaze over? Totally lost in the jargon? Well, today, we're going to tackle that feeling head on. We're going to decode one single, really powerful sentence from Malaysian Strata law. Now, it might look a little intimidating at first, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll see exactly why it's such a critical piece of the puzzle for anyone involved with strata properties. All right, here it is, and all its glory. Pretty dense, right? It's so easy to see why this kind of language can be a bit off-putting. But what if I told you that inside this one sentence is a key that unlocks how the whole strata management tribunal works? Let's treat it like a code we need to crack. Let's start deciphering.
So, how in the world do you even begin to tackle a sentence like that? Simple. We're going to do what any good troubleshooter would do. We're going to take it apart, look at each component individually, and then put it all back together. By the time we're done, the whole thing is going to be crystal clear, I promise.
Okay, first things first, we've got to unlock the jargon. You can think of it like we've got a door with a bunch of locks on it. We just need to find the right keys. In this case, there are really 4 key phrases we need to wrap our heads around before we can see how they all fit together.
Let's start with the one that has the most real-world impact: security for costs. You might have even heard this phrase thrown around if you've been anywhere near a legal case. But what does it actually mean?
You know, the easiest way to think about it is like a security deposit when you rent an apartment. The tribunal can ask the person filing a claim to put down a chunk of money up front. Now, this isn't a penalty. It's more of a safety net. If that person loses the case, that money is sitting right there, ready to help cover the other party's legal bills. It's all about making sure the playing field is fair for everybody. Okay, so we've got security for costs figured out. Now, let's look at the next piece of this puzzle. Where does this Regulation 36 fit into the picture? And there it is. Super simple. Regulation 36 is just the specific rule that gives the tribunal the authority, the power, to actually ask for that legal deposit we were just talking about. It's the how that makes the what happen. A small but absolutely crucial link in the chain. All right, now for a phrase that trips up so many people: without prejudice. You see this stamped all over legal stuff, but what does it really mean when one rule is without prejudice to another? Let's figure it out. Okay, this is where it gets kind of cool. Imagine you're playing a board game, right? And halfway through, someone introduces a new rule. If that new rule is without prejudice, it doesn't mean you throw out the old rules. Nope. It just gets added to the mix. All the rules, old and new, exist together. It's a really simple idea, but it's so powerful in law. We are almost there, I promise. The last piece of our puzzle is the biggest one, the broadest one of all: any written law. It sounds pretty straightforward, but what does that really cover?
You should think of this as a giant catch-all term. Any written law means exactly what it sounds like. Any other law that's on the books in Malaysia. It's the system's way of making sure this one specific regulation doesn't just exist in its own little bubble, but that it respects the entire legal framework of the country.
All right, we've got all of our pieces laid out on the table. Now for the really fun part. Let's start snapping them together and see how they create one single solid legal principle. It's time to assemble this puzzle.
So, how does it all flow? Okay, picture this. First, the tribunal uses its power from Regulation 36 to ask for that security deposit. Simple enough. But what if some other law also gives the tribunal a similar power? Well, that's where our star player, Regulation 38, comes in. It acts like a bridge, basically saying, hey, no problem. Our power from Regulation 36 doesn't mess with or cancel out that other law. And the result? The tribunal's authority is solid, it's confirmed, and all the laws get to work together in harmony.
So in a nutshell, that's what Regulation 38 does. It's a legal safeguard. It's like a preemptive move to stop any potential arguments about which law is more important. By making it totally clear that all the relevant laws coexist, it just creates a much more consistent and predictable system for everyone.
So we've cracked the code. We get it. But why should you actually care about this one little regulation? What's the big picture here? How does this actually affect property owners or management bodies or the legal system as a whole? Let's dive into that.
This is really where the rubber meets the road. A rule like this, it's often called a saving clause, is kind of the unsung hero of the legal world. It's the thing that stops legal chaos before it can even start by making sure different laws play nicely together. It protects the tribunal's authority, and it closes loopholes.
For example, it helps stop someone from filing a bogus claim just to try and drain a building's maintenance fund with legal fees. Why? Because it solidifies the tribunal's power to ask for that security deposit. It all leads to a stable legal framework where everyone knows the rules of the game.
Look, if there is just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. Regulation 38 is a legal safety net. It's just there, quietly in the background, ready to catch any potential conflicts or contradictions before they can cause a huge mess. It ensures the whole process runs smoothly and fairly for everybody. And that kind of brings us to a bigger question, doesn't it? We spent all this time on one tiny regulation, but just imagine how many other little saving clauses, like this one, are woven throughout our entire legal system. It really makes you appreciate the invisible architecture that keeps everything from falling apart. What other little details are out there, quietly having a huge impact on our lives? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into Strata law.